now, and then, gonna have to chop that part of it off the front because it totally showed the length of the game.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm gonna do a 3, 2, 1 count in, and then we can get started.
Okay.
Alrighty, so 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everybody. This is Senex alongside Mr.
Cool.
Yes, indeed.
How's it
We
going,
are
guys?
Pull and Senex, the cast. No, we're not going to compare ourselves to Tasteless and Artosis. That's highly
correct.
premature because they're pretty much the masters of the art, and we're just a couple of guys who are trying to get some interest in the 6 mineral field and 1 high yield gas variant of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, we're not quite the casting Archon, although we do feel like we do a pretty decent job of delivering content to you guys. Also, feel free to leave us some feedback and some information about how you feel about the cast, just so we can get better for you guys. So it does look like we are going to go ahead on with this game. Puget here, of course, playing our Protoss at the bottom right side of the map. And then we do have a Terran player, nYqFundipper, at the top left.
I like the idea of just dipping into fun as though it was like salsa or something, like having
Yeah.
cheese with a chip with like a lot of fun on it. It'd be
You know,
delicious.
That's so funny. For some reason, I was just thinking of like the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. So
Oh.
I was just seeing like spoons for
Oh.
like, you know, whatever the dippers are. I'm not even entirely positive of what they are exactly. I think they're just like spoons, right?
I
Like
think
the-
they're like ladles type thing.
Yeah, ladles. I don't even know what ladles are. I feel
Yeah.
like it's, but yeah. Anyways.
Getting back into the game, Fundipper immediately walled in his front ramp, making sure that that probe is not going to be able to see anything, but the probe did almost kill that SCV, who is now running for his life out of the base.
Yeah, most definitely. Now that Fun Dipper SCV having lots of fun there, having to run away from the probe. And it does look like our Protoss player is just chilling out. He is getting his first assimilator. Now, for you guys that are unfamiliar with the 6 mineral 1 high yield gas, that is a high yield gas. At least I do believe it is on this. Yeah, it is high yield on this map. So that means he's going to get quite a big burst of gas relatively early, at least compared to what he typically would get on a normal map. But in the end, it's going to be a little bit less than what he's used to getting as it kind of stabilizes later on in the game.
Yeah, by having 1 high-yield gas and 6 mineral patches, there's exactly 25% less money available at each base. But if you just look around the map, this map is Crosspoint, created by Ironman, who is a fantastic map creator. He made O'Hara for the GSL. It's just, he's really skilled. It's awesome that he made this map for the 6 mineral community. And you'll see that there's many just more bases to take around the map. And so by having less money at each one, but more bases, it encourages a lot of expanding and just aggressive macro play.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it makes the game so much more fun to watch for me. Like, and to be honest, I was playing a ladder game earlier, and I'm not like saying one's better than the other, but I was playing a ladder game, and me and my opponent both were just sitting macroing and just building up a 200 army, and that's something you don't really see too much on maps like this variant. So, like I said, it really creates more interesting, or at least more aggressive play. Not necessarily interesting, but definitely more aggressive.
Yeah, we can definitely see that in this game already. Both players going for very fast expansions, and a bunker going down right at the front of Fundipper's base, which definitely implies that he's not going to have too many Marines to defend with. He's already going for the factory, so I think it's very likely that we'll see a starport after this, because if he was going for a lot of like tanks or other things like that in order to defend, he just wouldn't need that static defensive structure.
Yeah, most definitely. And for those of you Protoss players that are out there, you will know that seeing a bunker at the top of a Terran's base, or at the top of a Terran's ramp, sorry, is pretty much a huge indicator that they are going for a high-tech build. Most likely will be either 111 or just a Banshee, possibly Cloak Banshees. So keep that in mind, Protoss players, when you do play against your Terran opponents.
Yeah, though the 111, this is one of my favorite changes actually, is that the 111 can do damage, but is significantly less effective off of
absolutely.
just one base in a few resources per map game. Because, for example, if anybody who is out there watching this ended up seeing the MLG finals, or actually not the finals, but the games leading up to the finals, you saw a lot of 111s against Protoss, and they were very effective.
Yeah, and the thing is, if your initial aggression, or at least if you're doing like a one base play, and the 6 mineral 1 high yield gas variant, you really, if you don't pull it off, you get punished so hard because you don't have that many resources left in your base to expand into macro on into the mid game. It's basically like a one, it is straight up all in. There's like no forgiveness going on. So it does look like Fundipper is trying to float his CC down to his expansion. Going to be forced to move his Marines out of that bunker to get rid of the Stalker, and will successfully do that.
Yeah, he does chase that guy away, gives him a little bit more hull damage. There was a kind of failed poke up the ramp that also put some hull damage on that Stalker. But if you look at the production tab, we do see the first Banshee on the way, with Cloak a little bit less than halfway done, about halfway done right now. However, with very, very good play from Puget, he has already predicted this and has gone for the robotics facility with the first observer on the way.
Yeah, and something I will note is that the Terran play does have his third command center almost halfway finished, so he definitely has a good idea of how this map should be played. It's very aggressive expansions, or else you kind of just get lost in the macro of the game. If you stick to 2 base, you're not going to be as strong. You're really forced to expand to get what you want. So it does look like Puget is chilling out outside of the bottom of the ramp of Fundipper, maybe considering to push up here. He actually is going to do that, and he can actually manage to take out this bunker if he chooses to do so. Of course, SCVs are being pulled to repair, and really great force fields there by our Protoss player, so he is going to deny that bunker, eliminate that bunker, and deny this expansion for just a little bit. Of course, I don't think he's going to manage to to kill off that CC there.
Yeah, right now the army of Fundipper is practically a cardboard cutout. However, this Banshee is in the main. He's very nicely queued up to be killing off as many probes as possible, but that observer is out following him around, and there's already been a warp in of stalkers to try to deal with the Cloak Banshee. So he's up to 4 kills, but is going to have to run away, or he might actually just be killed right now. No, the needing to get up the ramp did end up saving that one Banshee, but it is almost out of health, and that's just never a good place to be when surviving is one of your goals.
Yeah, so that Banshee is down to 10 HP right now, which is great though for a Terran player. You really don't want to lose your Banshee if you can at all help it. Of course, you will be able to repair.
Though.
Oh yeah, there is another Banshee there. It currently has 6 kills. Sorry, I missed that, guys. And managed to clear out all of those workers right there.
Yeah, they all had to go running back into the main, but a second observer, I really, really like that decision. He knows that immortals are not what he needs right now. He just needs more visions around the map, and it lets him take out that Banshee the second it tries to poke back in. And still, this expansion is being denied from Fundipper. He cannot get into his natural.
Yeah, so both of these players doing an excellent amount of economic damage. Of course, the supply for Puget is 62 to 38 right now, and that is just simply because he has his second base up and running right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth noting that just because there are fewer resources in each base, so the game generally starts out a little bit slower, that does not mean there cannot be a lot of early aggression like what we've been seeing by these two players. And look at this, there's no observer with the main army despite him having 2 on the field, so one stalker is already down, and the Cloak Banshee is going and hunting down the rest of these very high energy and valuable sentries.
Oh, absolutely. He's taking out those gas units, and like we said, there are fewer resources per base, so there's going to be less gas, and the more that he can eliminate heavy gas units, he's just going to benefit even more than he would normally. Now, it does look like Puget is moving up here with some more of his army to do, like I said, some more applied aggression. Now, there are quite a few Marauders on the map. Of course, they are at the top of the ramp, so they will have a good advantage against the Protoss player if he tries to push up the ramp, and I really don't think he can do any kind of breaking right now.
Yeah, I don't think that he just has the force to break this front door, particularly if a couple of bunkers get thrown down, and that would definitely be a good decision by Fundipper, our Terran player. So there is this third which has been landed, and I do think that that needs to be turned into a planetary fortress. Planetary fortresses are generally a lot more valuable in a few resources per base game, but more on that in a minute. He's poking up the ramp, immediately loses a stalker, and cuts right in half. He's forced those front units to engage the Zealots, but the Zealots are starting to die pretty quickly, but not before that front line of units is wiped out. And right now those force fields are actually the only thing that is protecting Fundipper's very, very small remaining army from the Protoss forces.
Yeah, Fundipper in that battle right there, I really think he did not need to run down the ramp like that. I mean, those shields, or not the shields, I'm sorry, the force fields were inevitable. He really shouldn't have moved his army down there so they could get split up, but I guess he just felt like it was a good idea. Not the best in my opinion.
Yeah, right now Puget is attempting to equalize the base count. He's going for a Nexus at his third and is just pulling back the rest of his forces. He was pretty scared, I think, by that one pushdown. He knows that that could have gone a lot differently if he'd missed the force fields or just not looked at his army for a moment. And so he's very wisely decided to just get back on his side of the map, try to take the advantage that he has. As we can see in the supply tab, he's about 20 supply up, so our Protoss player is definitely in the advantage, but he's moving across the middle of the map again.
Yeah, it does look like Terran has about 1, 2, 3. He's got about 7 Raxes, so he's going to be producing so many Marauders. And his upgrades, where are they at? He does have 1 in the attack upgrade, whereas our Protoss player does not have any upgrade right now. However, he is researching his attack first. I feel like he should probably go for shield first. And what do you think about going for shield first, even on this map variant? Do you think it's still a good idea, or do you think
mean
attack
armor or
first is
shield?
better? I'm sorry, armor.
I do think that armor is generally the right decision against Terran, just because Marines are your main damage dealers, and they attack just so quickly for small amounts of damage that every point of armor is very valuable. But we do have a little bit of a fight in the middle, and unfortunately those force fields were just not where they needed to be. They did not kill off any of the retreating units, and so that whole force is able to get right back into the Terran's base.
And it does look like FunDipper accidentally wasting a scanner right there to try to take out that observer. Really didn't need to do that. And there goes quite a few minerals for him when you consider they could be used for mules or even scouting information, which is actually a very valuable resource in and of itself.
Yeah, and that third is up for FunDipper, and you can already see the effect of having those additional bases. He's starting to even out that supply, particularly with the very large number of Raxes that you pointed out that he now has in his main.
Whereas Puget is coming in here, FunDipper and Puget are attacking each other. Puget does have the better vision because of the ramp, the better attack advantage. However, FunDipper with his medevacs and Marauders will manage to push back this Protoss army. This looks like Puget's turning around to try to do some damage, but those Zealots just getting concussive shelled to death. Not going to really do anything right there.
I actually think that killing off that probe was a really, really nice thing for FunDipper to do, because if you were looking at the units that were being warped in, they were actually all sentries, and so he would have been able to hunt them down and kill them all. There was no way that they would have been able to stay alive after. They would not have turned the tide, essentially. And there is actually a massive load-up, which is now moving around the right-hand side, right into the totally unprotected main. There's only 2 cannons there that were designed to deal with the Banshee harass.